When I look at myself, I see the pain and I see what it feels like more than what I actually look like. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis in January 2014. I started having the symptoms about a year before I was actually diagnosed. I started having like cramps and bloating and diarrhea, but it was up and down. It was all sorts of different symptoms that I wasn't sure what was going on, and I was embarrassed to talk about it. I was not sharing with anyone else other than him. I had never heard of ulcerative colitis before in my life. I didn't know what it was. I thought, yeah, it's just a one-time thing, but they said it was chronic and that I would have it my whole life, but that it could be managed with medications. They
were very reassuring that it wasn't going to dramatically affect our quality of life. But since then, her situation has been, I think, dramatically different from what they anticipated.
I was just home all day, unable to leave the bed most of the time. A lot of the times I couldn't make it to the couch. The grocery store was about as far as I would get. And even at the grocery store, I was wearing diapers. When I was interacting with people, it was hard for me to mask the pain. And it was hard for me to process the fact that people couldn't see that pain. I got pretty good at hiding it.
In the early days, it was really frustrating for us because we kept longing for the goals that we had already set for ourselves and trying to live a fairly normal life. But then you have to accept that you're not going to be able to plan for the future like you wanted to. You kind of have to start taking each day at a time, like one day at a time.
We never knew how I would feel when I woke up that day. Like, some days would be really great, and other days I could barely make it to the bathroom. We didn't know if we'd be able to have children, but I've always wanted to be a mom, like, my entire life, and I've always wanted to see Ryan as a dad.
And we felt like we had things under control, and we wouldn't have even tried to have a child if things were not in a stable position. And we wanted to make sure that we were really intentional about it. And we tried, and we got pregnant fairly easily, and the first 7 weeks were great, and then things were not great.
The surgeons wanted to operate and remove my colon, and we decided that that was the best thing for me, was to do a 3-step process to get a J pouch. So this was the first surgery where they remove my colon and make a ostomy from my small intestines. So right now I'm prepping to change my bag, which I do a few times a week. So this is actually part of my small intestines. It's good to get a thick barrier because you don't want any leakage. You just click it on. There we go. You have to like hear it click in. So I thought that having an ostomy was going to be the worst case scenario. I thought that who would want a bag attached to their body with their poop? And I didn't want to do that. But it's given me my life back. I can go out of the house now. I can travel. I can go in the car for more than 10 minutes. And it's just been amazing. I'm still struggling with my ileostomy body image. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm happy. I'm so thankful for my ileostomy. And I'm proud of it, but it makes a lot of people uncomfortable to see it.
We made vows that we would be with each other in sickness or in health. And you don't really know what that means until something like this happens. But I made those vows to somebody that I care so deeply about that I'm going to do my absolute best to live up to that.
People don't talk about Crohn's and colitis because they're embarrassed by their symptoms. People get uncomfortable when you talk about hard things, especially, they think, oh, it's probably comparable to a stomach bug, so it should be, you should be feeling better tomorrow. I want awareness because people always say, oh, at least it's not cancer, but it can progress to cancer. And also, the symptoms are very severe and life-altering, and because people don't talk about it, no one knows that it's a chronic condition.
One of the unintended side effects of this whole experience has been a deeper empathy. We've understood that there is a lot of pain in the world, and we have to be more sensitive towards people that are dealing with that pain, because a lot of it is unseen or misunderstood. So I think we're much more careful about our expectations of people now because we've seen how things look from this side.
And I think knowing that it is a chronic condition, knowing that I'm always going to be struggling with something is definitely a hard concept for newly diagnosed people to grasp. It takes a long time to accept that. I think that you're not going to get better tomorrow.
I think that we live in a real pull yourself up by your bootstraps sort of society, and that works for people that have their health, but it's not something that you choose. Some people just don't have the blessing of a healthy body, and I think that as a society we need to do a better job of embracing the people that are not able to live the life that they want to live because of a situation that is so far beyond their control. We need to learn to treat people with more respect, and just because somebody's not able to live up to your own expectations of them, but that doesn't mean that they're any less worthy.